Yes, that's me, little old Dan, who ran away to live on a canal boat to escape society, who regularly spends nights sleeping in a bag on the woodland floor, turning on the Christmas lights in front of an in-person crowd of thousands. This is the short story of one of the most fascinating, unusual, but brilliant experiences of my life. And it's all thanks to you. It all began way back in the depths of time when I first discovered YouTube and started posting random clips. But it wasn't until I bought a canal boat and then started posting videos about life afloat that I really started to get any kind of meaningful views. And back then, the internet wasn't so corporate and massively dominated by big channels. So me getting tens of thousands of views was a big deal at first. Then that became hundreds of thousands, ultimately millions, and over this year, hundreds of millions. But way back then, just getting to 1 million views was an absolute unbelievable milestone. By the time I hit that first million views, my channel has become a bit of a novelty in the local area because, of course, the people around me knew and loved the places I was visiting, but often I was showing them from a different angle because I was based on a canal boat. And so as that number crept up, it became a weird thing that me, one of the most socially awkward, shy people ever, was suddenly getting people that I'd never met before coming up to me in the street and telling me all sorts of stuff about my own life and saying, oh, you need to visit here, you need to visit there. And it was fascinating and fantastic, and it genuinely massively improved my life because instead of being so awkward socially, suddenly I had people coming up to me already with a topic to talk about and already basically knowing everything about me and my life. So that helped, but it was certainly interesting sometimes because I swear some people knew more about me than I did. This extremely minuscule public recognition then led to obviously people joking about, oh, famous now, oh, you'll forget about us and all that sort of stuff. And it led me to make an offhand comment in a video once where I said I won't consider that I've made it until I switch on the Oswestry Christmas Lights in my hometown. And people in the comments didn't really ever let that go. It was probably well over a year after this running joke had first begun amongst my commenters that it finally reached real life when somebody made a petition for me to switch the lights on in my town. And when I saw it, I thought, well, it's a lovely gesture. I didn't think it'd go anywhere. Thought it was quite amusing, but I also had a real massive cringe feeling towards it of thinking, oh, people are going to think I've done it. People aren't going to sign it and are going to think I'm some sort of egomaniac. When really the idea, as many people who watch my videos now to this day, years later, will know, me in front of big crowds, me just walking around a shop with more than 3 people in it, I'm like, oh, this is too much civilization for me. But as the weirdness of life often works out, enough people signed it that it got the local council's attention, and amazingly they called me in for a meeting where I thought they'd say, oh, we love what you've done with the videos in the local area, thanks very much, but you're obviously not going to switch the lights on. Instead they said, yeah, come and switch the lights on. So then I got like about a 2 or 3 month period beforehand to then dread having to go out on stage in front of a crowd and do it all. And you know what? In all honesty, everybody was so nice, and I cannot thank everybody involved at every level, from the people who signed the petition to all the people in the council and the event organisation. It was amazing. And it was just a shame that they had possibly the least suitable person for public speaking at the centre of it all. So the night finally rolls around and they have this idea of local heroes. So they have me as the local YouTuber, they have a local athlete and people from a local charity there, all on stage talking about stuff. And I've got the easiest thing to say, really. Oh yeah, I love Oswestry, I film it. I live on a boat and film a load of stuff from the local area on that. And look how great this is. One of the themes of my videos to this very day is about my love of the continuity and the idea that people have lived and worked and walked and wandered in the same areas for thousands of years, just like my hometown of Oswestry. And so I get to the point of my bit to speak on the stage. And because we've got this wonderful athlete girl there and she's just won a race and everything else, I try and be clever and be like, oh, what an honour to be up here with an actual world champion. And in thinking, oh, I'm going to be gracious and clever and say that little introduction, I completely lose everything that I want to say, which is basically what I say in my videos all these years later still. How amazing is this? People have been here walking these steps, wandering the paths and running the sunken lanes and holloways into the ground for miles around. And all of this stuff, my love of the great outdoors, my love of canals and boating, there's so much that's so easy for me to talk about because I've done it for years and years at this point. My goodness, do I go to pieces, and I literally am just looking across a sea of people as far as the eye can see down the hill, and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? So I sort of stumble through my little interview bits, and it's incredibly cringeworthy, and I try not to think about it too much because that's my lasting impression that people have of me in great numbers of seeing me in person on the one and only occasion I've been out in a major public event. And well, I've got to say, the actual switch on, simple countdown and push the plunger and then all the Christmas lights come on, that's one of my favourite moments of my life. It was just beautiful to be such a part of it for the whole of town. And of course, this is something that I myself, for years and years, I've got memories of me being a tiny kid and going to the lights switch on and the chill in the air, and then walking around town after looking at all the Christmas lights on. And the idea that I got to be a part of that is extraordinary. So that's the story of one of the best things that ever happened to me. Thank you very much to everybody who was involved, and of course to all the people who made it possible in the first place. And it's quite interesting when I think that the internet has changed so much in the years since then, and my own content has changed to far more general outdoors, camping, wild camping, stealth camping, showing the amazing locations, the historical curiosities of these same areas I've been lucky enough to grow up, to live, to explore and adventure in. And in a weird way, with the dawn of short form content, it suited my sort of stuff far more. And so bizarrely this year, without almost even thinking about it, just in the background, my videos on Facebook alone, I'm heading towards 100 million views just for this year so far. That's an outrageous number. It's quite intimidating, to be honest. And I often think about that and think back to the simplicity and the awkward Dan Brown on the stage there. And I don't know, if I'd have gone from that maybe 1 or 2 million views I had when I was stood on that stage to literally sometimes getting that in just the morning of one random weekday in 2025, I don't know if I would have had the bottle to carry on posting videos. So thank you again to absolutely everybody who's joined me at any stage of this fantastic, fascinating and truly ridiculous journey through the internet. Until the next time, my friends, check all the links in the description or somewhere on the screen if you want to follow me and find out more or support these videos in any way. But ultimately, have an absolutely fantastic day, keep it interesting, keep it woodland worthy, and of course, my friends, farewell. See ya!